Welcome back to Omnifactory. Between the episodes, I decided to just take down that building a notch, so you may not be able to tell, but that was one story taller. Reason being, this stuff, terracotta, happens to be quite useful. You can process it and make it into clay dust, which is very useful for getting aluminium out of, so I thought I would go ahead and do that. I also crafted some primitive circuits, although we're probably going to need more than this, but that's just going to get us started because it'll let us craft probably a couple of these primitive processors, so that's the first tier 2 circuits. All the rest we've seen before, red alloy cable and wrought iron plates. Both of those should be fine. I've got a few of those. I'll just take those with me. And we, in fact, yeah, I've not got any space in this one. We are, however, going to need to make diodes, and we haven't made diodes before, but it seems to be fairly straightforward. Glass panes, which we've made. Fine tin wire, which is exactly the same as copper. You put tin wire through the wire mill again, and you get that back out. And then in the middle, we have a tiny pile of gallium. Now, we did do that briefly for a quest, I believe, but that was a while back. So we're going to need to just refresh ourselves on how we actually make it. It's not terribly hard to make, but it does require us to use the centrifuge, and, or at least it's one of the ways, to use impure pile of zinc dust in a centrifuge will get us some gallium dust back out and some zinc dust as well. So it purifies it basically, and we get a pile of byproducts. This comes from crushed zinc ore, which comes out of a pulverizer from just regular zinc ore. So it's a couple of times through a pulverizer and then through a centrifuge. Do I have a centrifuge up and running? It's not doing anything, so I'll assume that's up and running. Here we've got some impure pile of zinc dust, so let's put that into there, and that's going to start processing. This macerator is just working through the second lot of zinc ore. I do have zinc ore itself, but just thought I'd process some of that off camera so you don't have to watch quite as much. And let me just put away some of this other plant-related stuff. I also have some sugar canes outside. I'm going to make a bigger farm to make some more sugar canes for, well, basically for paper purposes. We are going to grow that into a vanilla farm or even a better farm than this, but I sort of get them going and we'll come back to them later once I have time. For now, I just run out there occasionally and just manually break them, and that will do just fine. Right, so how do we have? Got some more fine copper wire. We're going to need that anyway, so we may as well make more. And here we have a tiny pile of gallium dust. Now we'll also use our macerator, and we're just going to make, I think we're just going to grab that all out for now. And we're just going to process some cobblestone, that will be much, much faster, into gravel, and then gravel into sand, sand into glass, because we're going to need quite a bit of glass just to actually process this any further. I probably should think about a second macerator, and of course we can actually do that if we want to, but for now I'm just going to keep grabbing this, and of course we should be able to just, I suspect, smelt this zinc dust straight into zinc itself. So no more wastage there. Yep, zinc ingots. Good. All right, so I will just wait for all this to finish processing. Then we'll get a couple of those second level circuits going. In particular, we have them down here. We need to get through this. Also, I did get some comments between the episodes of someone saying, unfortunately, auto crafting with ME, with A2 and ME, is going to be a little while because we need to get through most of this early game tab because we need plastics. Yeah, I think it's the. I think they said it's the blank patterns. Let's take a look. Blank patterns. Blank patterns need microprocessors, nanocircuits, refined processors. Okay, so we can't use the primitive ones. That's much of a certain. Fine silver wire shouldn't be much of a problem. We can just put it through a wire mill, but we need polyethylene. Now, if you already don't know what that involves, it's going to require quite a chain of stuff. So polyethylene, yeah, can be obviously just compacted from polyethylene ingots, or indeed straight from, you know, the fluid version of polyethylene. However, that itself requires a bunch of other stuff. Polyethylene pulp, and that goes back through other things, does it? Or am I going through the wrong chain? Let's go through the liquid chain. Chemical reactor, here we are. So, to get polyethylene, we have to react ethylene with air, and we have to have a programmed circuit. Ethylene moves back through the distillery from hydrocracked propene. That goes back through propene, and back through the distillery again, steam-cracked light fuel. This seems almost like Factorio. Regardless, so you can actually do distillation towers, I think I did that briefly in Project Ozone 3, or very similar kind of approaches to that. And then steam cracked light fuel comes from light fuel, which comes from, well, many different sources. Hydrogen and sulfuric light fuel, and it goes on and on. So that's going to be the sort of middle, well, it says early game tab, I think. Is that really an early game tab? That feels a little more like mid game to me. But that's once we get a lot of stuff going. So yes, unfortunately, we're not able to get A2 to craft an awful lot of stuff for us. So we may have to go and get more specialized at these work tables and get them actually really turning things around for us. Anyway, we've got some more fine copper wire out. What I actually want is to see if everything else is done. There's some zinc. I am going to, where's my, there we go, centrifuge. So we've got 42 gallium dust. That's more than enough. And then I'll just put the rest of this zinc in here. And where is the rest of this stuff? Yeah, let's just put that back through for sand. I'll turn it into glass and then we'll recoup. Well, we'll come back once this is all done. And here we go. To make some diodes, we're just going to need to make some panes. And we'll then use those panes and just, well, put them like this. And then was it the gallium in the middle? No, am I misremembering? Is it something more like that? Hang on. Let's take a look. Diodes. Yes, it's the fine tin wire on either side. There we go. And we can make lots of diodes. This will make 2 stacks of it, which I'm happy with. We're probably going to need more than 1 stack at a time. So let's just get that going. So I've got 2 sets of diodes. And that should mean we should be able to, I think, make at least 1 primitive processor, which should give us the quest. I would have thought. Beginning. Yep. There we go. So primitive processor, first tier 2 circuits will require 4 tier 1 circuits plus some gallium. So we'll claim some of our Omni coins back. And that's that unlocked. So let me just put these Omni coins away. I probably will actually be using some of them, but let's just clean up that stack of them. Right, so from there, we can go and craft a pyrolyze oven. Now, that is another multi-block structure. So just like our blast furnace, we're going to need to make a bunch of stuff. And I'm not sure whether I have everything there as far as that's concerned. Let's just look at the pyrolyze oven. And someone did say in a comment, it is basically burning stuff without oxygen. So that is, I believe, pretty much what you do with charcoal. You turn wood into charcoal, you want very low oxygen for that to actually happen. So yeah, pyrolyze oven is slightly different than before. It's more of a long structure than a tall structure. But yeah, for turning logs into charcoal and creosote oil or ash and heavy oil, etc. Presumably that is the start of the oil processing chain, which you can then do other things. So yeah. For that, however, you'll need 3 primitive processors, some cupronickel wire, that's for the oven itself. And yeah, so we should be pretty good there, I think. And here's some recipes. So there's only 4 pages, and there's only 2 per page. So yeah, program circuit, some steam, which we'll probably need a boiler for, and some wood, and we get creosote and charcoal back out of it. And you get more than 1 to 1, because at the moment we can just put it in the, if we want charcoal, we'll just put it in the furnace. Is there anything else that is reasonably useful? Coal coke will probably be much more useful. Yeah, it can basically double the burn time of coal, which is good. And charcoal obviously already does far more than double the burn time, so we know to use that. And we can turn coal dust into coal coke dust either way. But yeah, coal coke then. Now we need that for something essential, or is it okay? Yeah, it's just basically, well, we can use it in overclock generators, but not much else. So okay, I'm wondering if that's optional for now. We'll soon see. So that is one option. Or we can move down here and then have a look at some other things. So what I would kind of like to do is get this ME drive sorted to be able to expand our storage a little bit. To do that, we need to go through ME conduit, it seems. So let's just see what the ME conduit takes to craft. ME conduit is just going to be covered cable. So we're going to need an assembler, and that's where I was at the last episode. And yeah, I was crying because it requires so much other stuff that we haven't done yet. So I do have the ability now to make primitive processors. So I'll go make another one of those. And then we have to have a look at these other things. We have to make a conveyor module and a robot arm, or 2 of each. We already make tin cable, of course, and that's an LV machine hull. It's straightforward. So robot arm is motors, is pistons, is a circuit, some steel rod, which we can already make. So that should be okay. And then the conveyor module is motors, tin, and rubber sheets. Nothing we haven't done before. I'm going to spare that. I'm going to make 2 of each of these, and then I'll obviously make all the other components, and we'll come back for the final. Is it a pun to say assembly in an assembling machine? Yeah. Anyway, we'll come back once that's done. Requisites. We've got both of these quests complete in the middle. LV conveyors and LV robot arms. So both of those are done, and we can put them in here. So I've got the 2 conveyors already. They were far, far easier than the robot arms. Robot arms needed quite a few motors. I think it's like 5 motors at least. One of them gets turned into a piston. The other 4 get used. So I've got a basic assembling machine. And there we go. And hopefully this, well, I'm running out of room, aren't I? I'm going to need more room soon enough. We can always open up another floor, or indeed dig down, or wherever we need to go. And we have a basic assembling machine, so that can get us further. Where's the quest for that? Is it probably one of the other tabs, I would have thought? Yeah, it's popped up over here. So assembling machines are the linchpin of your factory, gating progression through the circuits. Building one will enable you to craft large amounts of circuits very easily. Yes. Yes. Okay, I need to figure out how to actually do that, but let's just take a look. If we have a look at our basic circuitry, there we go, primitive circuitry. Do we have something for the assembler? We do. Okay, so that is more how to use it. I'm more interested in how to make it. Primitive circuit, not so much, it seems. Okay. So, basic assembling machine uses has 380 pages. I'm not going to go through this manually. Let me have a look, because there should be other sorts of circuit that we have available. Before we move into, the processors, there should be other tiers in the original sort of circuit. So we're going to look for where our primitive ones is. Is that primitive? No, that's wetware. Where's my primitive circuit? There it is. So we've got electronic circuit. So second tier 1 circuit. So if we do those, yep, it can make them in the assembler. So we want this second tier. How about the third tier? Third tier 3 circuit. No, I want the second. Is there a third tier 1 circuit? Doesn't look like it. No, wow, up to tier 8. Okay. So we're just going to go to electronic circuits. So in here, we just need the phenolic substrate. Okay. And that is our coated circuit boards that we've already made previously. They're very, very easy to craft, just resin and wood, basically. And we use a chemical reactor with those, with phenol. Okay, phenol is from wood tar. Chemical reactor. I would like something, pyrolyze oven, really? Really? Okay. Remember that thing I said was useless? Yeah, that's going to put me to shame, unless we can do it another way. It's really pointing towards this pyrolyze oven to get lots of stuff out. Yeah, we get wood tar out of it. Okay, fine. I guess we're going to have to look into that fairly soon. Regardless, once we actually get to phenolic substrate, the rest of this stuff, we can certainly already make the resistors and the fine copper wires. We can make those en masse. They're actually quite easy. Aside from the fact we need, a paper farm for the resistors. We do, however, need these capacitors. They're a new component, and they're part of the early game tab. And now this is going to require a bunch of stuff that we've not made yet. Fine silver wire should be easy enough. Rubber sheet should be easy enough. We already have that. But tin alloy foil, is that more the compressor multiple times, maybe? No, it requires the cluster mill. So that's entirely new. And that comes from tin alloy plate, which, of course, I imagine should come through our compactor. Yeah, so we need tin alloy. And that would just be some sort of alloy in tin and iron. Okay, so tin and iron, yep, that's fine. So the thing we don't have yet is a cluster mill, so we'll have to make one of those, and that will help us create capacitors. But no point really doing that if we can't do the phenolic substrate. Let me just double check there's not an easier way for me to do that rather than build the whole... Yeah, I'm not going to be able to get away with it. I am going to need to go through the pyrolyze oven. Thank you very much, mod pack creator. So yeah, we are going to need to go through that. However, first, just a brief thing. I just created a simple vanilla sugarcane farm, nothing weird here or unusual. If anyone wants to, propose a better vanilla version or better version with what we have right now, without going into like farming stations and stuff like that from Ender.io, then, feel free to put it in the comments down below. Anyway, just some observers above some pistons, and behind each of the observers is it's just a redstone signal on a block. Basically, so any of them sees anything in front of it, and they'll push the pistons out, which will throw all the sugar canes off. We should know how these work. If not, and I can explain further. And I was just too cheap to put in hoppers all along here and then into this, so I just went with running water for now, and we'll see how that actually works in practice. You can just get some sugar canes, and you can see it should work perfectly fine. As long as they as long as they actually hit where they need to, then they should flow along and just get dragged into the chest. Yeah. So I'll leave that there for now. There is a better way to actually get paper using some processes with machines, but I'm not too worried. I'll just leave that running outside and not worry about it for now. So yes, we are going to need a little bit more. I'm going to do the pyrolyzer next episode, I think. I need to craft some more of these cupronickel coil blocks. Need some nickel and copper for that. However, this episode, in order to get further, we're going to need, for this ME conduit that I was talking about, we're going to need some ME glass cable, but also we're going to need rubber. And we're going to need rubber from the rubber sheets we've got. I think I just made tar by cooking up this resin. Can we actually use tar for anything like this? We can burn it, I guess. It'll go in a steam dynamo. It's not quite as good as... not quite as good as coal, but it is actually plentiful. We can get rid of any excess. We've got 2,000 of this resin, remember. It grows on trees, literally. So yeah, we can just throw it in any sort of setup, but we can also make torches with it, sticky pistons, so we have no need for slime balls. That's actually quite nice. Is there anything else I can do with it? Different kinds of plates. For now, I'll just store it, and we'll come back to it if we need it. Okay, so where was I? Yes, so that is what we can use our sticky resin for, but more often than not, I actually want something else from the sticky resin. I normally want to make rubber sheets for the various cables, this stuff, okay? So we want to use rubber sheets, and we can convert this directly into rubber if we have a fluid extractor. So that's a new thing that we've not crafted yet. It's another machine, so a fluid extractor. It's going to need me to make a couple more circuits. Of course, I can't make the assembly machine versions yet, so I'll have to do the primitive ones. An electric piston and a electric pump. So each one of those is going to require at least another motor, and some other bits and pieces. So I'm going to go and craft those. Should be able to ready for construction now. So we'll put those two circuits in place. We'll get a basic fluid extractor, and that can pop down the far end. It looks somewhat different to the basic fluid solidifier. So if you thought we already had one, yeah, so did I. But nope, we need a basic fluid extractor. And this is going to auto output, I hope. Let's just put in a few rubber sheets, and that should change into rubber. Let's see if this automatically exports over here. If it doesn't, I need to go and read the wiki. It's certainly got rubber available, and it's in a liquid state. It would be nice if it actually basically output over here. No, you're not going to take it? That's such a shame. I will need to actually figure out how to do that. I guess we could always ladle it over with a bucket. Will that actually work? If I grab it from over here, can I get it without a fluid cell or anything like that? I need to go and read the wiki clearly. And it does work perfectly fine. I just didn't have enough in it. So you just work fine with buckets. I just grabbed a bucket full using that and just dropped it into here. And that will do for now. We'll get some other way of piping it later. Probably just with some fluid pipes on across, pressurized fluid conduit, that kind of thing. We'll see how that goes. I'm just going to go and make up a couple more cables because we're going to need that to make this. Where was I going? Alloy smelter. So we want flux dust and quartz fiber. That should make us a couple more cables. Well, in fact, to make 4 cables. I need 3 for this. And we're going to put those into the basic assembly machine, I think. And they'll get produced into ME cover cable. Good. And each one of these take a certain amount of rubber. That seems to be about half the rubber gone. So yeah, we should probably think about maybe converting some of the others. Yeah, that'll do. So we've got 5, and then we just need to combine those with wherever I've stored this stuff, conduit binder. So we'll put a new recipe in place down here, and we'll just have them like this. And we have ME conduit. Yep, quest done. Take the Omni coins. And down here we have that available. So now we can get to the ME drive quest. So can we actually make that though, I wonder? Is that going to need more things than I have? Well, that's normally the way things go. So it does need an ME chest. It does need primitive circuits. It needs aluminium plates. All of those things we have. I have the ME chest over here. We can obviously rob the storage component out of it. However, it does need these emitters and sensors and the medium voltage versions. So what are you going to require? You require processors. So 2 for one of these. Each one of those is 4 of the early circuits. So this needs 8 the original circuits. Electrum, which hopefully should be easy to make in an alloy smelter. Silver and gold, as you might imagine. That is easy. Copper cable is easy. So, yeah, it is just 8 circuits. Wow. How about the sensor? That is also a processor, so that's 12 circuits. But everything else we can make. So why don't we just go and get an ME drive? If I go and make lots more circuits. And one mammoth circuit crafting session later, I should have everything I need now, bar a few plates just to make the processors. So we need 2 plates per processor, and then of course a couple of diodes and 4 red alloy cable. I've got those. Got all 14 primitive circuits, of which a few of those are about to just disappear. In fact, hang on, do I need 3 lots? I do need 3 lots. Let me just go and grab another diode and a couple more red alloy cables from upstairs. In my circuit work tables, just 1, 2 more, because I'm going to need to make 3 batches. There we go. Okay, and I'm going to need a couple more iron. Cook those up, and we'll make them into plates. And there we go. Let's grab these for now, and let's just make 2 of these, because we're going to make 2 of them into the next step up. So we want ME drive. That's going to need us to get a couple of other things. So we've got 2 here for this one and 1 here for this one. So we'll need to make that. We also need some aluminium plates. So I need 4 there. I need 4 here and none here. Good. Okay. So that should be relatively straightforward. I'm not sure if I actually made that much aluminium though. I think I have enough dust, just not enough plates. Yeah, I've got 4 aluminium plates. Let's just make 4 more dust. And let's put it in the machine outside. Let's hope it doesn't sap all of our resources. Let's dump that in there. That can come up, and we'll compress everything else into plates. So gold and silver in the alloy smelter gets us some electrum, which I've already done. So we're just going to dump in some of that. And I can convert it all over into electrum rods. So that will get that going. Do I have another set of aluminium plates? I do. Is that everything we need? We need a little bit of nether quartz and some copper cable. And do I have any copper cable? I usually have a little bit of spare copper wire, and we can just grab a stack of you, put it in our compressor, and that'll get us the compressed. Yep. So if we just dump that there, will that make a copper cable? It will. Good. And will that get us everything we need? So that looks right, apart from some nether quartz. We need 2 pieces of nether quartz, which I think I have enough without processing. Yeah, I got a couple of pieces there. So that should be job done. So 1 emitter. That's expensive. And 1 sensor. Also expensive. And then the rest is ready to go apart from the ME chest. So if we just go into our ME chest for a second, we're just going to rob that storage cell back out. Take this with us. Give ME drive. There we go. And that should be ready to go. We'll craft this up. 1 ME drive. Oh, wow. Wasn't that painful? So let's just put the floor back down again. And let me just put my ME drive there. So now, basically, I have the same as 10 ME chests. So it is worthwhile doing, definitely. However, I only have 1 ME storage drive in there at the moment. So I can't auto-craft it, so I'll have to handcraft it if I want more. But that should give me a lot more capability to basically get rid of all of our chest systems. And of course, then We can have a look at an ME crafting terminal. ME crafting terminal, is that actually significantly worse or harder? It is not. Oh, yes, it is. Yes. Calculation processors. Yes. Although, hang on, they don't require the blanks. They just require these. So, oh, hang on. Inscribe block of aluminium. We can already make aluminium and blue lens. That'll get us a calculation press in a precision laser engraver, which needs an emitter with brass, which needs brass, which is alloy smelted from copper and zinc. We can do that. We can work backwards through that. Quartzite. I'm not sure if I've actually got quartzite. I would assume we're able to, though. It doesn't seem like it's out of the ballpark. So, yeah. Technically, that is possible with yet more circuits to get a laser engraver, which will then get us the calculation press. In turn, we'll need to get an inscriber, and that's electric pistons MV. So just like we've made the low voltage version, we now need to make the high voltage version, and that is with aluminium instead of iron, effectively. Instead of wrought iron, we get aluminium. Yeah, so I'm going to need lots more aluminium. Speaking of which, remember I said about this stuff, light grey terracotta? Terracotta. Doesn't really much matter which color, but let's just look at this one. So we can make it, but we're not really interested in making it. We're interested in pulverizing it. So if we pulverize it, we'll get clay dust directly back out of it. So I think I want them. Did I put them in here somewhere? Put them in one of these chests, I'm almost sure. Yeah, so I've got the results of me taking down an entire floor worth of terracotta. Ah, here it is. Yeah, so you can see I've got quite a lot there, and we can just dump that straight in our pulverizer, macerator basically, and that will produce clay dust. The clay dust in turn, there we go, clay dust, we can put that through the electrolyzer, I think it is. Yeah, and we'll get silicon, lithium, aluminium, and sodium out of it for every 7 that we put in. Takes quite a lot of power to do so, mind you, but we can actually do it. And of course the aluminium dust that we can then put directly into the blast furnace and get it converted across to aluminium ingots. Now what I haven't done yet is move our lava source across to the nether. I need to actually go and do that between the episodes. This is quite efficient now, but when I've been using the machines all episode, it does take a little bit out of our single magmatic dynamo, or at least with the battery backing of an LV CEF. Out here, this is working, although it is godly slow. So yes, 6. That's not really fast enough for me. So although I do like the idea of a vanilla furnace every so often, just to show that I still do remember some things about vanilla, I'm going to speed that up. So the other thing we can actually do in here is, whoops, let's just take that quest for one. That's 25 on the coins. I will not refuse that. We've got a few things left. MV machine hullers is one of them. Paralyze oven, we're going to have to get through that. So, and someone did say in the comments the large, there's certain nodes in here that you basically have to go through. So I'd assume that all the funny looking nodes like this are the ones that you have to go through. There's no way to avoid them. They're the bottlenecks. So yeah, paralyze oven is one. MV machine hulls is the other. And we haven't got all that much left on the original tab. However, over here we have a farming tab. You'll need large quantities of canola for biodiesel and potatoes for vodka, ethanol. Okay. Other crops will work as well if you want to mix things up. So we are going to have to get into farming. And now I do already have potatoes laid down. They are not terribly hard because I just dumped them upstairs when we first started gathering crops. There's 9. I think there's more upstairs. I'm not sure if I actually have enough to satisfy this. Let's take a look. No, I don't think I do. I have some other crops, however, anyway. And we do need canola. Is that just going to be breaking grass to get canola seeds? Canola seeds from canola, and canola only comes from canola seeds. So I'm clearly going to have to find canola in the wild if I haven't already found it. Let me just double check. Have I found it? Oh, yes, canola seeds. So yeah, we can just plant that outdoors. But I'll need a much larger area for planting and farming and stuff. So what I'm going to do, I think at some point I'm going to turn this sort of area into a bricked area with further extending the bricks, that is, and have machines up here. And then down there, I think we're going to have our farm. So I'm going to be moving that at some point. That will require me to get more cable, which I don't yet have. So temporarily, they may live down there until we can actually move some stuff around. Yeah, that should do it for this episode, I think. We'll just need to put some water down. And I think we'll just do it out here. In fact, do I have a hole? I'll just remember to do it now so I don't forget. I think it's going to be up here somewhere. Wrought iron axe. I will take one of those with me, but no, I was just looking for that. Let's take that axe with me. I wonder if an aluminium axe will actually be better than a wrought iron axe. It's a higher tier, but aluminium is a pretty soft metal, so it shouldn't really let me do that if it's following actual metals. But I guess wrought iron is probably pretty brittle, so I guess you got to take your choices. So yeah, let's put that just down the canola, and that can grow. And then I'll just make sure I have more potatoes, and we'll just grow lots and lots and lots of potatoes. That will do for now. I'm not sure how much we'll extend this. We can get these worms. They do hydrate the soil around them, so you don't need to worry about it quite as much. Away from, you know, your original source block, because this is our original source block, so it'd normally be 5 away, but these should actually solve the problem quite handily. And that's probably why I only got a few of these, because it pushes the stuff too far. Yeah, I may need to rework that farm. Regardless, for now, thanks a lot for watching, as always, and we'll see you next time for some more Omnifactory. If you've got any ideas based on what you saw this episode, or indeed any tips from your own playthrough, feel free to put them in the comments below. Click on the subscribe share if you normally would, and click on the bell if you want notifications for more episodes. To watch me just rework this vanilla farm, I'll do it off camera. Regardless, I'll see you next episode. See you next time. Thanks a lot.